Or Phil.
Hey, Morgan, this is something that's been rumored for some time on Wall Street, at least for the last couple of weeks. And then this morning, in a 10-K filing, Tesla said, yes, it has bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. As you take a look at shares of Tesla, you might be saying to yourself, okay, $1.5 billion in Tesla or in Bitcoin, what does that work out in terms of how much cash they have on hand? In their regulatory filing, which they said they may also accept Bitcoin as a form of payment, if somebody wants to buy a Tesla Model S using Bitcoin, that's a possibility. But in terms of its cash position, it had $19.4 billion in cash. You take out $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, or to be spent on Bitcoin, you're looking at about 8% of its cash position, cash and securities position, that would now be tied up with Bitcoin. As we mentioned, this is something that has been rumored for some time on Wall Street. Elon Musk himself, if you look at some of his previous tweets, he tweeted, "Bitcoin is my safe word," back on December 20th. And remember this? Remember when he changed his Twitter profile on January 29th? Well, it may be a little hard to see there, but we circled it. He put the Bitcoin symbol right there on his Twitter feed, and it was there for a number of days. One other chart we want to show you, Tesla versus General Motors. And why are we showing you these two stocks? Because General Motors will be reporting its earnings on Wednesday. You'd be curious to see what kind of questions CEO Mary Barra gets about whether or not General Motors has ever thought about accepting Bitcoin or investing in Bitcoin. Not sure she'll say much on the conference call if that question was posed to her. But guys, this is one more case where Elon Musk is going one direction, where I guarantee you almost every executive in the auto industry is saying, really? Not sure I would do that. But Elon Musk has shown time and again he will do, and Tesla will do, things that others may not think are the smartest things in the world to do. And they have worked out in the past.
I have to get your reaction, first of all, on this headline of the day. Two factors for it. One, does it continue to build momentum in Bitcoin and Tesla, I guess, or does it potentially mark the top? And should a company be doing this if it is indeed speculation and as an investment as opposed to preparing for transactional purposes?
Thank you. The first question is easier. Yes, it will continue to build momentum. What did Tesla tell you? Two things. One is that this will be a form of payment. And two is that this is an investment vehicle. So those are two powerful endorsements for the notion, I want to stress the notion, that Bitcoins are a currency, are money. Because after all, money is a store of value. Money is a form of payments. So yes, that will build further momentum. As to the reaction, it's going to be all over the place. Some will see it as visionary. Others will say, wait a minute, if I want to invest in Bitcoins, I'll do it directly. I don't need Tesla to do it for me. And by the way, shouldn't Tesla be in cash management? Bitcoins are way too volatile for cash management. So you're going to see a whole range of reactions. But for Bitcoin holders, today is good news for them.
I guess, Mohammed, one common thread behind all of this is debasement of traditional currencies. Does just the further endorsement of their alternative increase momentum behind the downside argument for things like the dollar?
Maybe at the margin, but I don't think is a consequential effect. But what is consequential is that the argument for Bitcoins is evolving. It used to be a negative argument. You don't trust the system, invest in Bitcoins. You're afraid about inflation, about debasement, invest in Bitcoin. Yields are too low on treasuries. Put Bitcoin in your risk mitigation bucket. Now, suddenly, we have those reasons, and Tesla says there are positive reasons. Form of payment, investment vehicles. So that is the pivot, Wilfred, and that's why you're seeing Bitcoin prices at 44,000.
What's your take, Mohammed, on the very quick bounce we had to new highs after that sort of 4% peak to trough pullback, and whether it puts us back into overstretch, overbought type levels?
You know, I've said repeatedly for the last many months, the path of least resistance for this money is up. Don't get in the way of massive liquidity. The only thing that will stop it is either a market accident, and we came close to one, or alternatively, the Fed losing control of yields on longer dated bonds. So keep these two things there. This is a rational bubble. It is a bubble. Prices are completely disconnected from fundamentals, but it is rational because there's so much liquidity being pumped in.
And Mohammed, just finally, in terms of valuations and opportunities, do you see the US as less attractive than certain international markets?
I do not. I think fading the US too early is a big mistake. Europe is going to have a lot more problems in terms of vaccinations and in terms of the economy. And the emerging world is still quite precarious in economic and payments terms. So you have to be very selective. But if you are buying an index, I certainly wouldn't fade the US in favor of the other jurisdictions right now.
We've got Dan Ives, who just called in to the Newsline. Want to get him into this conversation. He's obviously followed Tesla for quite some time, plus crypto. Dan, you look at this move. What's your initial reaction?
The initial reaction is this is Tesla and Musk diving into the deep end of the pool on crypto. And it's something that's been rumored for a while. And ultimately now this is really them putting substance behind his view. I think it's something the street will have a differing view of, but ultimately we've seen it with MicroStrategy. This is definitely going to be viewed as a positive for the stock.
Positive for the stock of Tesla, and then of course positive for the value of Bitcoin. You're looking at that move literally as we've been speaking just in the last couple of minutes here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a major solidifying credibility for Bitcoin, especially in terms of when you have a stalwart like Musk making this move. And it's significant. It's going to have a ripple effect, really across other corporations with Musk making this move. And it's something that's, I think it's a seminal moment for companies as they sort of look toward this area.
But Dan,
how concerned, though, are you about the filing relative to the comments that Musk has been making online over the past several weeks?
Well, that continues to be a slippery slope, and we've seen it before with Musk and Twitter. That's not been a friend in terms of issues like this, and it's definitely raises, I think, probably some questions, and that's going to be something that they're going to, have to focus on. I think for investors, it continues to just be another variable in the Tesla story, but no doubt in this environment, clearly there's going to be a whole lot of momentum in terms of Bitcoin on Tesla. It almost creates a perfect storm to some extent, especially in this environment that we have.
Why? I mean, why doesn't this, rather than build momentum, why doesn't it show that it's the top? I mean, just to pivot the question a little bit, Dan, you're an analyst of tech companies, you're an analyst of auto companies. Tesla is meant to make cars, and it's clearly a tech company more broadly and develop technology. Should it be trading with its cash once it generates cash from its two core business areas?
Well, again, to that point, it's a great question. I mean, we think fundamentally is continue how you'd have to value it on the EV prospects. It's going to be something that investors, when you look at this, it will get that sort of added multiple. But I think for right now, that's going to continue to sort of make the emotional bull-bear story more in Tesla if they start to get that multiple and it starts to run from there. And this is going to be something that we're going to continue to contend with. We've seen it with MicroStrategy, now Tesla. It's definitely going to have a major ripple effect for Tesla in terms of what could be the valuation over the coming weeks and months.